Hello again, world. I guess on this session, I'll be continuing with some random topics, stories, issues. So, this one, I'm going to tell you a story about my mom. This is one memory that is very dear to me, and it's something that's keep the positive side of when I think of my mom. Um, there was one time I believe I was home during school break, or it was the weekend, and my mom, she it just so happened that she was caring for a nest of a few baby birds, and the reason was, I believe, that the nest fell from a tree, and there was no way to get the nest back up in the tree. And these baby birds, the chicks, were still kind of small. And personally, I wasn't sure how she was going to go about and do it, but um, for a few weeks, and I think I came home on the weekends or probably dropped by after class from college when I didn't have any afternoon classes. And I was surprised that they were getting along pretty well. She was feeding them with milk and bread. She was using tweezers that you would pluck your eyebrows with to feed them. And every now and then throughout the day, she would go out there and check up on them and just feed them. And then she was teaching them how to fly. I thought that that was quite uh, the scene in terms of she would go out there and she looked really happy. She was smiling and laughing. She would pick the birds up and she would toss them up in the air and then catch them. It might sound kind of wrong and crude, but she was tossing them up so that they would learn how to flap their wings. And she was just laughing and enjoying at watching them flap their wings like she was playing with them, such as a pet or something. And it's just the memories like that. And they actually got to a point where they actually grew on the bread and milk. And with her basically tossing them up and catching them, they technically did learn how to fly. And after a few weeks, um, she did set them out and let them go free. But that's a very heartwarming moment and memory that I have of my mom, uh, because that's usually not a side of her that I see. I mean, I remember my mom as someone who is she's caring, but she's always nagging and fussing and the one that gets on your nerves. And when you see a side like that, it portrays people, loved ones, in a different light. So it's something to be appreciated. That story was basically almost 5 minutes. So let me tell you about another time during college. For those of you who probably had biology class, you probably had a biology lab, and a story I heard from a friend of mine uh, was that we had an experiment of where you had to swab with a cotton uh, cotton swab, and you had to swab any part of your body to get some cells so that we could either grow some mold or some cells or something. And according to the story, one of the students, a girl, was supposedly trying to either be funny or just whatever, but she swabbed the inside of her mouth, and while the cells and living organisms we were growing in the petri dish, during the next lab, from what I was told, was that one of the bio lab students, who was a grad student, was going through, and he happens to be doing his research on various STDs. And the petri dish that was swabbed had the molecular structure of either gonorrhea or syphilis. It was supposedly one of the, I think, curable ones, or treatable ones. And so, of course, I think the grad student told the student in question about what was going on. So I guess the gist of that story was that that student had a dirty lollipop, and if you're not careful of which lollipop you're going to enjoy, bad things may happen. So, I guess I can probably squeeze in another story here. So one time I was working in the computer lab, and it was the graveyard shift of around 11 p.m. to 6 or 7 a.m. I had my roommate Josh at the time, and he was accompanying me because there was nothing else to do. And I think it was a weekend, and it was probably around 4 or 5 a.m. And then I happened to be IMing and talking with another friend of mine, Keisha, and we was just talking on, and I suggested, well, why don't she come over to the lab and we can head on over to Krispy Kreme or something after the night shift, and it was still dark at that time. And from there, we went to the Krispy Kreme, and they had those Krispy Kreme hats, the paper ones, and so we were just uh, enjoying ourselves by going there, telling stories, and I mean, I don't even think we had cameras or pictures or anything, but it was probably one of the most fun that we had of basically the twilight hours, going there and to just sit and reminisce on old times, how we knew each other, and just laughing, just being stupid. And it was just a great memory. And I don't know, I guess it's kind of hard to convey the the joy, the funness, and the laughter of that moment when trying to recall that and to tell that to the world. But it's definitely some fun times that I had, and I miss my college days. I really do. But I guess I'll see you guys next time.